Call the meeting to order. State the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bob Basilius.
Here.
Travis Dunlap.
Present.
Jim Meeks.
Here.
Timothy Meunier.
Here.
Bernie Paprad.
Here. Any communications, bills or expenditures? Nothing. Nothing. Okay. Officers, committee and staff.
Yes, the administrative boss.
Okay. Approval of minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Travis Dunlap.
Yes.
Bob Basilius.
Yes.
Jim Meeks.
Abstain.
Timothy Meunier.
Yes.
Bernie Paprad.
Yes. Okay, now we're going to report about the committee and staff.
Nothing.
Nothing. Staff,
No.
nothing. Jim?
No.
Nothing. Nothing. All right. All right, we're gonna open this public hearing for Luke Oil Company. Before we get going, all the paperwork all in and okay, all the green cards back and everything else?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Interrupt you.
I would come talk.
Okay. My turn. Thank you.
Your turn.
All right. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Todd Lee. I'm an attorney. I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Luke Oil. Charlie Ray from Newland Group joins me. He's the design professional for the project. And Todd Elliott is a representative of the company. He's here as well. The three of us are going to try and present to you our request and answer any questions that you might have. This is a variance of use, so we're asking you to allow for this property, the property in question, to be used as a self-storage facility, mini warehouses, if you will. The property in question is just off the intersection of 149 and 20 Melton Road. Luke Oil has a fueling station at the southeast corner there. And immediately to the east of that is this subject property. So the fueling station is about 2.36 acres in size. And the property that we're talking about immediately to the east of it and on the south side is 1.9 acres in size, just under 2 acres in size. The handouts that I've given you show aerial site plan that Newland Group has prepared, showing 5 buildings in a lineal segment, just as you normally would find in any self-storage facility. But what's unique and different, in my opinion, about the design is you'll notice that the 2 buildings on the outside, the east and the west buildings, are only half as wide as the 3 in the middle. And the reason for that is the outside of each of those 2 buildings is a flat wall. You don't have storage units facing out. So what that gets you is the back wall and the fence is what you see from the exterior from east and west. You don't see a row of overhead doors like you do in many traditional old style self-storage facilities. In my mind, that's a very nice aesthetic look, at least for self-storage in a commercial or in this case, highway corridor area. The other thing that you'll notice from the renderings, the next pages in my handout, is the front elevation of those, the ones that face the highway, the ones that will be visible. You'll see the fronts of those buildings through the security fence. And what you see is an architectural feature that looks like storefronts or office fronts, and not again, overhead doors. So I think it's an attractive self-storage facility. You can do that. I think there are some attractive self-storage facilities around. This one, I think, by design, is going to be really well done. We also have a known developer, Oil. They do things, in my opinion, they do things right. So I think that the design, the layout is really well suited. So let's talk a little bit about your zoning ordinance. Self-storage is pretty limited in where it's allowed. It's not allowed in the RC2 district. That's where we're at. So that's why we're here, is to allow for this use. But again, I think that the use is appropriate as a great transition from the gas station on the corner and a home on the other side. So you want to have, in my opinion, low impact. And I believe that for all of the things that could go in an RC2, I'm not here to threaten, what it could be, but we all know what RC2 can allow. And all of those uses have, in my opinion, greater noise, greater traffic, greater impact on the neighbors than a self-storage unit. Self-storage units, I don't know, I've represented a number of developers, and the number of visits per unit per month is really, really low. People don't go and visit their junk. That's just kind of the nature of it. So they're very low impact, very low traffic impacts. That's our request. I don't have anything further to add, but we're happy to answer any questions that might come from the public hearing or those that you might have. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll open the public comment part of this public hearing. Is there anybody here opposed? If you are, stand up, state your name. And for the record. Hearing none, we're going to close that and open one. Anybody in favor? Guys aren't making a very good okay, hearing none, we're going to close that part of the meeting. Okay. All right. Which end do we want to start on?
So
Go ahead.
I apologize, I wasn't here last month, so I don't know if some of this might be redundant or not, but on the southwest corner of the storage unit, these oval shapes, what are those? Is that a retention pond or what is that?
Those are ponds.
Are they? Okay. And where are they gonna be draining to?
They'll be draining to, there's a inlet on their property that we'll be going to, but
Okay. Where's the entrance to the facility?
the entrance is, you might want to show them.
On the other side, Jim.
It's,
From the fueling station. Yes.
yeah,
So that's an interesting point. There's no cut out onto the highway, so that I think that's a factor as well.
either front or back.
Okay, so what is this area here then that you have where the 104 road?
I suspect that that's draining. What are these lines down here?
That's little square thing.
That is,
That's a storage unit.
I think that's, I don't know what that is. That's something that they're surveyor.
It's not an opening. All right.
No, there's no opening on this road. There's no opening on this road. It's just the only access to it because they want to limit access. So,
Your entire area, is it gonna be paved, stone, or what?
part of it will be paved and part of it will be stone. Or, that's what we had originally thought, but it's based on the ordinance for it.
Now, what's the height of this fence along there?
It'll be 6 foot. It's a fence that looks like wrought iron. It's actually aluminum. That's a wrought iron. That's
I understand. No, I'm just concerned about, I don't mind the wrought iron style around the rest of the area, but this fence went along 20, and this is just my opinion. Even though your front of your sides of your building are nice here, I think that's still kind of an eyesore from the highway. Of wondering Again, just my opinion, we could make this some kind of privacy event, so people wouldn't have to look into that as they're driving down the road. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. You got nothing?
I need to confirm some things from the preliminary meeting. I just want to make sure my understanding is correct and that this is still part of the public hearing and this is what you're going to follow through on. First and foremost, correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be off a little bit on the hours, but the hours of operation, I believe you said were from 8 to 8.
That I don't know. I think
Because
that's,
it was a limited amount of hours. I remember that very clearly in my notes.
It's not gonna be open at night.
Exactly.
Let's say, yeah.
We need to know what you're planning on. 7 to 7, 7 to 8.
Open to whatever, I mean.
well, so what I would suggest. So, 7. How about 7 to sunset?
Sunset in summer at 9:30.
Yeah.
I
No.
think, I mean, 7 to 7, 8 to 8, you know,
I was trying to make.
7, I mean, we're.
Don't give folks any extra time in the summer.
Okay, I. Whatever you guys decide on one of those numbers, you tell us. I don't wanna influence you.
So.
8 o'clock. is good.
8 to 8.
I'd say
7 to 8.
7 to 8 or 8 to 8. either.
8 to 8,
8 to 8,
yeah.
Okay,
okay,
to 8, sir.
And understand my question is not because I want you to try to conform with anything we discussed. I just want to make sure that my understanding of what you presented in the last meeting is the same thing. So,
And that's fine, and that's.
yeah, I want to make that
You
clear.
appreciate, I wasn't here at the last meeting, so
That's
this
a
is,
good question.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and just to confirm, once again, I think you just stated this, there's only going to be one entrance from the filling station, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
That automatic,
is there a gate?
There'll be a gate.
or people have to card or.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then I also want to confirm, one of the things that was kind of up in the air, I think you were here last time. The particular construction material, especially on the wall facing the owners on the other side, there was some confusion as to what that would be. Is it going to be stone, brick?
It's gonna be metal siding, but it's 26 gauge, so it's fairly thick.
Okay,
It's not chintzy stuff. And on the fronts where where it views from the street, we're gonna use the fake stone and then hardy plank or some kind of a board across the top, like siding.
okay.
So it'll look nice as you drive by, you'll see that. And it'll look like a small office or a small retail business or something.
Okay, and again, I'm simply just making sure that I understand what you're requesting. The other one that I wanted to ask, and this was kind of an open question last time, was lighting. Now, granted, you're only open during what appears to be daylight hours, but what kind of lights, how is this, is this gonna be something that goes outside the units? Is it something that's gonna be strictly within?
No, there's no lights, in the build, in any of them. The only lights they'll have are wall pack lights along the side.
That are down
And they
there.
shine down.
Oh, okay, so no towers or anything?
No towers.
Okay, that's what, make sure I understood.
Maybe, I don't know, there'll be a light, maybe to make it look like an office at night, but we can shut that off too. I mean, it's not a thing, so.
So it's not that I'm asking, I just want to make sure I understand what you're
Yeah, those
proposing.
are-
I'm not here to tell you
Yeah,
what
so
to do.
they're wall packs that shine straight down.
Okay. And that's all I had for now, but I might have a couple more. You want me?
Yeah, I guess the initial, well, I guess, first thing popped up, as far as utilities, can you confirm what's the plan is there? I see some, from some of the renderings, maybe, what was alluded at the preliminary hearing, maybe different than that.
I think the only utilities are gonna be electric.
It's the only thing that's electric. There's no water, there's no water, there's no really anything.
No sewer, no septic.
No gas.
No gas.
No, nothing's heated. The units are just a bare unit.
So that was what just popped into my mind. I guess so the two questions that I had primarily are, number one, how does it relate to the principal business of Luke Oil, since that is the petition, correct?
Well, that's the petitioner, but it doesn't necessarily relate to their fueling station. It's an independent standalone business.
And is there an example of where this has been implemented?
Out west in Nevada and a lot of places out there,
Oh.
when you go to a gas station, there's all kinds of storage units behind them. And I don't know why they do that, but
Anywhere in the state of Indiana?
I haven't searched that. We were talking about it, group of people, and they said, well, geez, out west, they do this all the time, so.
It's not in the,
I know it's not Indiana, I know it's not. But the people from the actual, that are the attendants inside the building, they'll be able to assist anybody that has an issue or a problem or anything like that. So it won't be like people just stuck without a way out or in.
and I have some questions.
Go ahead. Okay. Also, too, I want to make sure that I understand the last meeting was made clear, and I hope this is still the same case. If my understanding is the same, there will be no vehicles, RVs, anything parked out, just sitting in the parking lot, correct?
No outside storage, that's correct.
And the other question I had too was, again, I could be wrong on this, but I just wanted to mention this. Taking a look at the codes and what we've got in front of us under chapter 15, the setbacks on this, we might want to just double check on this because I'm seeing a setback in the eastern portion of the part facing east as 5-foot setback. And then I see a 10-foot setback on either side of Old Porter Road and US 20. It appears as though, and I could be wrong, I'm just gonna mention this, might be a 10-foot setback on that east side too.
There's a 17-foot east, but it's stuck back on the one side.
Okay,
On the east side, I see 17, yeah,
okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't quite clear, but I thought I'd ask that.
yeah,
I don't want to jump to conclusions again, I'm just trying to understand what you're doing.
okay.
Yeah, there's a 10-foot setback in the front, but it's all the buildings are set back 53 feet, 58 feet. So they're set back much further.
That's a 10-foot setback from the Route 20 easement,
Yeah,
so that you got the easement for Route 20 and then plus another
right,
10.
right away 20 and then back 10 feet.
Okay, all right,
We're back much further than this.
okay,
Okay,
Even the fence is way back.
It's as far back.
that helps a lot.
all right. No electric inside the storage units,
No,
just for your lights
just the lights on.
all the way around, okay? Because that's a problem sometimes with people wanting to live in there
Exactly.
and everything else, so we'll go from there. What did you have in mind for security?
They're going to be using, they'll have cameras and they'll also have, I believe, a plate reader. That's what they're talking about. And there'll be buttons or a swipe card to get in and also one to get out. So you can't, like if somebody drives in and the guy tails them in before the gates closed, if he tries to get out, he wouldn't be able to get out unless he followed somebody.
You have to bail somebody out
Exactly,
again.
exactly.
Okay, all right, because we have had some problems with people trying to live in this storage unit, and I know yours isn't open that much, but still.
Right.
If you sneak in there during the day, hide out, and if you'd have electric in there.
Right.
You know, go from there. All right.
And one other question too, I'm assuming this, but again, I better ask before I just flat assumption. One of the things, not saying someone's gonna bring a generator in and out, but if someone goes in there and has like old cars in there, there's prohibitions on anything that you would have as far as doing any kind of individual work in there. If this is strictly storage, someone is that'll be, yeah.
And I believe there's no cars.
Oh, okay, no cars inside either.
Well, no, yeah, no, you're not allowed to store cars.
No, and that's the other good thing about
Fire hazard.
the gas attendant being there and whatnot, they would be looking at that sort of stuff or hopefully catching some of that.
Okay, so you're assuming there's cameras just facing back.
There can, we have
Okay.
cameras.
Okay,
Okay, I do have another question. Where is your office located? Who is going to administer your rentals and rental agreements? Do they have to go into the gas station? Or are they, understand what I'm talking about?
Online into the gas station.
online and in the gas station,
Right.
and the gas station will.
Be
That,
aware of what's going on.
and the only thing I have to say. Once if it does get approved, and once you're gonna have to get with the police department and the fire department and make sure they have immediate access to it.
Okay.
So they'd have to have a code card or a code button,
Sure.
and so they can roll in and out of there. Cause we wanna get you down there as quick as we can.
We can,
Okay,
that's not a problem.
okay.
Good question. The attendants at the gas station, they would have access to the cameras, I'm assuming there too?
Yeah.
Live feed of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So they could call something. See something.
Yeah, they see something.
Okay.
But they're not only open till 10 at night too, from 5 to 10, 5 in the morning till 10 at night.
No, it's important, the police and the.
Yeah.
have those.
I undoubtedly, because it's been a problem around sometimes and everything else. And I looked through the code. In my estimation, this could be the quietest thing that is permitted. If you look through the code in there, there's stuff in there that if I was living there, I sure wouldn't want to have it. So we'll go from there.
Okay, well, yeah, I can make one quick comment. Also too, now I'm not speaking for the board members, I'm speaking for myself. If I were to approve this, so it's understood, because I just want to make sure what you're proposing and from what you told us, that if we do make a motion for this, I will be expecting to put something on there as per what you've shown us today. So there'll be additional, like for the hours if you choose, the one entrance, things like that, confirming the 17-foot setback, things like that will probably be added into whatever motion that I would agree to. So if that's okay.
Well, I've made some notes of what you said.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
My suggestion is that when we get down to motion time, if it's to approve, condition upon, and then you and I can go through your list.
Well, the board, no, the
Or
board,
the board, I understand, whoever's making the motion,
okay,
and we'll hit those button points so that they wind up in the minutes. So that it's, you know, we got a lot of discussions here, but let's get it all down in.
Exactly.
In one list.
that's what I want, because it makes it a lot easier. This isn't like a carte blanche where we're simply saying, oh, hey, that we're giving a variance.
Subject to everything we said.
Exactly.
And I don't like that either.
Yeah.
So you said something about 17 foot setbacks or something.
As an example.
And what I suggest is that as to setbacks, the code's gonna cover it. You don't need to make it conditioned upon following the law.
Okay, or just the fact of what you presented here today with this diagram.
Yeah,
Something to that-
but I want a little wiggle room. You know,
To what the code says.
well, so
Okay.
the ordinance says 15 feet, we show 17. What happens if I come in at 15 and a half? I need code.
Okay, and that's fair. I just want to make sure that whatever variance that we give, it's
Yeah.
understood as to what you presented to us. This
Understood.
isn't a bait and switch situation. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
It's not intended to be a bait and switch. I'm just saying, don't tie me to something that's been prepared by an engineer but not engineered. If you
No, I understand.
Yeah, okay.
But I think we're coming from the same direction.
I
understand
do
each
too.
other. Okay,
Okay,
We'll just say that it's compliant with the code.
right.
gotcha.
Yeah.
My question that I have, so I'm to understand when you close the gas station at 10 o'clock, then nobody's seeing these cameras. These cameras don't go anywhere else?
No.
I believe that's-
They record. They record, but they don't. They're recording.
Okay.
Okay, as long as they're on a record mode, that you can go back and look
Yeah,
and
you can definitely go back.
see who was there or whatever.
Yep.
My only feel, Jim, and not to step on your toes, that front fence along 20. It's not just gonna be, it's gonna be a colored. Like a black or
It's a
charcoal.
What we've done is we do a lot of subdivisions. In a lot of places now, we're starting to say, hey, if you want a fence, instead of using that privacy thing, they're requiring you to use the black,
Okay,
decorated fence. And the reason is because when you drive through the subdivision, you don't see it. It blends in with everything. You really don't see it. Whereas the white fences that are plastic and everything, they're kind of an eyesore. And that's why we went with this and Bill Bennett, he's gone with that because he says it looks so much better than chain link or some
Well,
other.
my deal about it too is you went out of your way to present the windows, whether they're windows or fake windows or whatever, to make it look like there's office buildings right there, instead of just being a blank wall.
Right.
I think that's a deal,
And we'll
my opinion of
and
it,
we'll leave some of the trees there
that
too.
it's,
So,
okay, John, if I don't say this, my point, landscape.
right.
I need to see something about that, because she's the landscape queen of this field, and so you'll have to turn in some kind of.
We can.
Landscape.
We wanted to do that anyway.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And everything else, but I don't know, she might be listening, but. That's one of the things, but it'll only enhance your units and everything else, to have some nice landscaping and everything else. Okay, fellas, what have you got in mind? Oh.
I move that we approve this, but I want to get a clarification now. Some kind of a range, at least for the hours that we talked about. What was the final decision on that?
8 to 8 to 8.
8 to 8,
So I move that we approve this with the understanding that there's one entrance, as we discussed, that it meets the code requirements for any setbacks, that hours are from 8 to 8. Basically what we've discussed in detail, with obviously some limited flexibility for what needs to be done as part of the engineering for the property.
Might want to add to that the heat guard for the police department and fire department.
yes,
And
make sure they have access.
and no
Key card security entry.
If that's what you're gonna use.
Yeah.
Whether you want to access
access.
key card or fund code,
Okay,
or whatever you guys come up with,
electronic security entry,
that sounds good. But
trying to help out the.
we just need to make sure that the fire and police do have it, and we'll go from there.
And then obviously, I don't think that I really have to add this, but I'll just mention it. You said no cars in there, so obviously potential for hazard. That's, yeah, that you want to protect yourself anyway. That's my motion.
Okay, I have a motion. And I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Nothing? Roll call.
Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Timothy Meunier,
Yes.
Travis Dunlap,
Yes.
Bob Casilius,
Yes.
Bernie Papa.
Yes. Thank you.
Outstanding, thank you so much.
Thank you for your good presentation, and if stuff like this, we were all, I was thinking about it today. I just wanted to see what it was gonna look like,
It helps.
and I went through some of the code. And there was stuff in there, you could put a bar in there without even coming here, or a restaurant. Or all of that stuff, which is gonna generate traffic all night long or day long, especially a bar. 2 o'clock in the morning for that neighbor.
It isn't gonna start at 8 o'clock in the morning, but it isn't gonna finish at 8 o'clock at night either.
That's it, so thank you guys,
Thank you.
and get with the building commissioner and get set up.
What's your timeline?
Yes,
I think that what we're gonna do is we have drawings prepared, because we're doing it in other areas, so what we'll do is we'll send those drawings, get those drawings downstate. It's been taking a long time now, so maybe a month or more before we get approved drawings back. And then we'll submit preliminary and a site plan to the building commissioner here, so that he can review it before.
One last thing, we're talking about, what you're going to do on the, driveway. If the neighbor complains that it's getting dusty because you got gravel back there, we're gonna have to do something.
Okay.
Just an FYI heads up.
Yeah, we thought we may take the main part, and then because
I'm kind of curious.
the water soaks into the ground better, and whatever, and, there's not that much traffic in those. I was really surprised. We've done
He's not gonna-
some, research.
He's not gonna have a driveway around the backside next to his house though, because that's gonna be that flat wall line. That'll help.
Yeah. And you're gonna have, well, you're gonna have to maintain your easement anyhow in the back. And so you'll have to mow the grass and everything else and keep up, so, thank you, gentlemen.
No, everyone should be proud of it, so it'll be good, so,
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again.
thank you.
All right. Old business. We're gonna have a public hearing next month,
Mhm.
for the other auto repair shop.
Yes.
Okay. Any new business? Nothing?
Mhm.
You haven't heard of anything else? going
No.
around? Good in order? Well, no announcements. We'll have a meeting next month. What's the date of that?
The 23rd.
Okay. And,
Motion to adjourn.
So I second it.
roll call.
Travis Dunlap,
Yes.
Bob Casilius,
Yes.
Jim Meeks, Timothy Meunier,
Yes.
Bernie Poppel.
Yes.
Hang on, Barry. That's what I'm for.